Hello. I promised walking you guys through how to develop a content management system using Drupal. And as you guys are all aware, there are certain housekeeping activities or exercises you need to undertake before you can start. So first off, you need to be sure that your web server is up and running. And to do that, you launch your browser and type in the local host to be sure that it's up and running. So this page is indicative of the fact that your web server is up and running. At this point, it's able to point you to the htdocs. All right. So this is peculiar to the MAMP Pro web server. MAMP Pro web server. Okay, so this means that you would have to go into your C drive, into MAMP Pro, MAMP, and then htdocs. This is where you would actually place your web site to begin with. So what do we do next? We would locate our Drupal file. And to do that, you would go to, I have mine in my documents folder, then the software directory I have. So you should see yours somewhere on a desktop. So these are the contents of my Drupal core. The Drupal core we have here is Drupal 7.82 and Drupal 7.100. Drupal 7.100 happens to be the latest. Okay, so what do we do? First of all, extract its contents. Okay, so we just say extract here. Okay, so it should extract the content in a few seconds. At this point, you just have to be patient to wait for the content to be extracted. Okay. Okay, so we have our latest extract here. So this is it. So the next point of action is to rename it into the folder we so desire. I will use Rachel. Or is it Rachel or Rachel? I think it's R-E, right? Hey, let's stay with Rachel, R-A-C-H-E-L. Okay. So at this point, I will copy this extract and then locate the MAMP, then htdocs, and deposit it in here. So copy and paste it into folder, into the htdocs folder. Now, at this point, we will have to prepare it so that the web server can have full control over it. So what do? We go into the size folder, the default folder, then locate the default settings.php. So what do? We'll make a copy of it. So copy and paste and rename the file. We are just renaming it into settings.php. Okay. So at this point, we will right click on the settings.php and go to securities tab and edit and allow full control. Apply. Okay. Okay. We step out of it, then we will give the same control. Okay. Now, one might ask why we need to do all this. This is to enable the web server have full control over this folder. Now, as you can see, we'll revisit this folder again. You can see that currently we just have 2 files in here. There's 2 files in here. Initially, it was just a file, and we made a copy of this and renamed it into settings.php. So when all is said and done, when we revisit this folder again, we will realize that a certain files directory would have been created here. It is because of this permission we have granted the folder. Sorry. And because of the permission we have granted this default folder, that would have enabled the web server to have full control over the folder, to even create the files folder. As you can see, currently there is no file folder or file or files directory in here. All right, so we'll revisit it so that you'll be sure as to what exactly I'm talking about. So having done this, I think we are prepared to now launch our site. And to do that, we would go back here and then /php my admin. We would like to now go into the database and create a database so that we can load the content of our new site. So you click on databases, then create Rachel. I said the name is, it's not that necessary for it to be just like that of the folder, but it is good practice or best practice so as to help you locate the folder anytime you seek to do any further changes or modifications to it. Okay, so we create the database name Rachel. And since we are using MAMP Pro, it means that we have Rachel as a database name. We have root as the username, the database, and root as a password database. So these 3 credentials are what we're referring to. But if you are working on your own and maybe using a different server, assuming you are using XAMPP or WAMP, the situation might be different. Your username might be root. However, the password might be blank. All right. So kindly take note of that. So we come here. Now we are prepared to launch our site. Rachel. Okay. So at this point, we patiently wait for it to load our first page. So you can see here install.php, meaning it's about to install the site for us. So we click on next, save to continue. Now the name we created will come in handy now, Rachel. Username, root, password, root. But don't forget, when you are using a different web server, it might be blank, right? And because I'm using MAM, it requires that I use the password roots. Okay, so I save and continue. It will take some time for it to load. Just be patient. All right, so it is initializing and then installing the needed modules. So at this point, we have to configure. You can see here, configure site, configure site. So we have to configure the site, the website now. So we say Rachel's net, all right? So here we'll put in an email, then a username, and a password that you can easily remember. Sorry, want it to be on Ghana. So we say GH, okay. And this, okay, so we leave the rest checked so as to enable us get feedback anytime something goes wrong online. So we save and continue. Now, this should tell us that our site is ready. So we click on our new site. Voila. So this should tell you that we have achieved our first shot. That there are some house cleaning exercises we need to take in order to give it what we expect. Now, this is a dynamic website now, right? This is a dynamic website because it gives you everything right here online for you to actually work with. Most of the features are out of the box. You can easily get it done. You have a login, okay? So assuming I want to log out, I can log out, okay? And I can log in. So these are pretty much everyday activities of a website, okay? So you can log in, get it. You can log out again. You can even create new account. So when you click here, it gives you the opportunity to create a new account, all right? And it also gives you the opportunity, should you forget your password, you can create, request a new password. So this is pretty much a simple dynamic website. You wouldn't have been able to achieve this if you were going the static way, okay? So that is how relevant the CMS is. but we like to change certain things about this, okay? So first off, we would like to make sure we point this page to an index page, all right? Or to make it more readable, okay? To make it beautiful, okay? So what do? We would now add, so we go to Documents, Soft, Drupal. Now we have this static site, all right? So when we double click on, let me open with Chrome. So you see that we have this static website. Now we want to make sure this static website is embedded in a dynamic website. So what do? We would open it up with Sublime Text. That is the editor, all right? The editor. So you see that this is a static web page we have. So what do? We would make sure we copy, it's in tables, okay? So we'll copy the table column, all right? We'll copy out the table column. We'll leave out the body. We'll leave out this body and copy, just copy this and send it right in here. So that would represent our first page. So click on new content, then basic page. Okay, so here we will say, we'll just type in there, welcome to Rachel's homepage. All right? Now you can see here that the text format is showing filtered HTML. Now I want it to be full HTML because what we copied, this is full HTML. So we would now place that in there. Okay. Now you can see that it had some images. So we will come to fix that image later. So let's create a link. We could as well just leave it there like that. Okay, then create a URL. So we say home, all right? Then click on save. Now, you can see here that our web page seems to be taking some shape here. Okay, welcome to Rachel's page. Now, it's taking some shape here. You can see these showing as images. So what do? We would go in there and edit and maybe edit this feature. So we can click at this point, we no longer have to go in here, the Sublime Text. Now we have transported what is on the Sublime Text now onto the web page, the dynamic web page, all right? So all we do is to go in there, assuming we want to change this to Rachel's, okay, Rachel Entertainment. So all rights reserved, okay? Now there are other things too we could do in the Jiffy. I'll show you something. So now we realize that I told you we'll revisit the default page. So when we come to our site, Rachel, and visit the size folder. Now you realize that now the folder I spoke to you about, the files directory, had been created for us. So now this is where we will actually load all our images, all right? So we will create another go here. Then in the CG, now we'll copy all these images. All right. Copy all these images and then dump them here. Okay, dumping them here. Now, as it sits here now, we might not be able to load them directly. Okay, let's see. So when you refresh the page, okay, see that when we click on the home, it disappears, but there is content in there. For you to know that you have content, you will go to find content, okay? Then you realize that the content will be sitting there. So now for us to be able to point our home to this content, we would make sure we go back to this home, okay, and make sure we tie it with that content. So let's go here. Go here to, okay, and then say that promote to the front page. Okay, so when you say promote the front page and save, anytime we visit the home, you will find that the page is there. So anytime you click on this, it brings you to the home. All right, any content you promote to the home page automatically comes in here. Okay, so what next? We want it to take the center stage. So we would do away with these sections. How do we do that? We will go to structure, blocks. Then we will find that these are actually on the first sidebar. So we'll move them away to none, move this to none, and move that to none. All right, so the only content we want to see will be the main content. And we'll even move this out of that place. Okay, so we'll have only this sitting here. All right, then we save our blocks. Now when we revisit our home, we realize that it would have taken the center stage. You see that things are changing now. So we can do a lot with this, assuming we want to even change this color to conform to whatever image we're seeing here. So now let's go and make sure the image appears. For the image to appear, we would type in here sites, okay, /default, right, slash files /banner.jpg. You remember we deposited this in the directory, right? So we would look at it first. We would log in, or we would just enter for us to see whether we are able to view that page. So since we are able to view this page, then it means that we can copy this, all right, and go back and then edit. We would edit our banner. So in place of that, we would put in this link, all right? So see this path, size default, now that becomes our path. So what do? We'll copy this whole site and replace it with this. So we'll replace it with this. Now that forms uh, our new path. Okay. Take your time and get it done beautifully. All right. Okay. So I think we are done with all the images. All right. So at this point, we are done. So we can just click on save for it now to take effect. So if you are seeing what I'm seeing, okay, so we have a little challenge. You can see that some of the images did not appear. So we'll have to revisit the page to see what exactly went wrong. So let's see. So we have our sites, default, files, swag. Let's copy this. All right, and then verify from localhost slash Rachel. Then we'll paste this in here. Okay, let's see whether we get the image. Oh, okay, so the image is appearing. Okay, so let's troubleshoot and see what is preventing it from coming up. So let's say maybe here the height here is showing us 100%. Let's take it out. Let's take that height from the image. It's 100%. Right. Let's save it and see what happens next. Okay, so they seem to be taking effect bit by bit. Let's go back, meaning something is preventing it from loading. So let's take out this. Let's take out the width here. It's 100%. Let's leave it as that. And then save. Let's see what happens next. Okay. So this, we have a couple of the images not showing. That is showing here. Let's find out what exactly went wrong. Okay, so when we have these kind of issues, all you can do is you can copy the entire. So here we have swag. Since it's able to show there, we'll replace the entire thing with swag. Okay. Swag. All right. So the entire path is needed. Let's save it and see what happens. It's not showing. Okay. All right. So let's read more and see what will happen. Oh, okay. 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 So I think we can go back and now see what the problem is. So we can go back and put things back in perspective. So we can leave it at that. So we will take this off, this whole one off, and leave it here like that. And then the width, we'll leave it at 100%. Leave it at 100%. The height to at 100%. Okay. Then we save. Okay. Yeah, so this is it. So this is what we see, right? So we see that this image is looking yellow blackish. So we can decide to change this color to something black, right? Black, so that we can. So to do that, we go to appearance. Okay, then we go to settings. Okay, so here, the head, once you click in there, you can navigate and bring the black color here. All right, so here too, you can bring it down to black. All right. Okay, so this is how it's looking now. So we can decide to even take off this logo so that it doesn't represent our image. So we have it there like that. So we have a beautiful header corner. So Rachel's net and beautiful banner. All right. So when it's showing this way, it just simply means that you can just do a read more, then it shows. But we can change that. We can change that because of this home. We can change it. So to change that, we will go to configuration and site information, and we will change this to home. Because remember, we created the URL home. We'll change it to home. All right. So that anytime it loads with the home. Okay, it shouldn't give us any read me or read more thing there. Right. So at this point, we can log out. All right. So this is our site. Now, isn't it looking beautiful? All right. So this is what we've been able to achieve in this short period. If you have any questions, you kindly fill at home and then ask me. All right. I will assist. Thank you so much for your attention. Bye.